CEO of Text from All, which promised me a lot of controversies. Well, at least. No? He said, I tried last night so hard, but no. Shall we stand? How would let you do?
You tell me. I'm easy.
I mean, this is the part we will want to wrap up as well. But, Brian, thanks for being here. We started this morning talking with a big spender. I don't know if Janak was still here, but 1.3 billion state government, one of the users, and you meet Text from All, some of the users. We wanted to reflect on them a bit more. What did you get today from some of the discussions I heard in terms of users? Any topics that will come to you and say, we need to do something about this, we need to improve some stuff on?
Well, sure, I've got plenty of opinions on what we can improve, but with Janak, I thought it was really interesting how he brought up some of the caution signs with AI. We certainly we saw that, but yet every other conversation is about, frankly, if you're not using AI in your team for a problem, if you're not looking at that first, why not? So I think there's something we can all take away, like, all right, let's look AI first on every solution, but also understand what question we're asking it to solve, right? There's some that are more like machine learning, and there are other scary things that Janik was talking about. Let's don't give it our credit card numbers and our bank accounts and whatever. So you hear AI like crazy. You know, another thing that I heard today, we should celebrate. Like, we're not waiting to find out, well, you can send RCS on just these channels, we're waiting on this one, or when's Apple going to do this? It's here, it works. We're not asking, I'm not asking as a CSP that's registering thousands of campaigns, I'm not asking how do I do this. We've moved on to what we always call, that'd be a better problem. So what I saw today was better problems, right? We are working on how do we improve registration? How do we all right, we've built this system, how do we keep the bad guys out? That's good, because the implication is there's a system there that is largely working, and we got to find the problems with it. So I think there's something to be celebrated that I saw, and then there's obviously tons of challenges. There are bad guys getting out. There are, plenty we can work on.
From their discussions, I think it was great. I truly enjoyed it. Two things that I thought were controversial, and while he was here, I said, people will come and talk to you. His position on RCS, which was probably 3 times more expensive than my solutions. My budgets are limited, 1.3 billion. But it says, and each year I spend more on messaging, etc.
Yeah, but we're the same.
You say, my point is equally, but are we not looking at different things? This is not a per message we should be looking at. We should teach some of these brand and consumer that what they want is the outcome, right? So what if the fundraising, what if the ability to communicate is much higher per message? So the ROI rather than the cost per message. But we are really fixated sometimes on that type of messages, or maybe not, because your members, your client are similar looking.
Yeah, I think, my budget and my clients are not $1.3 billion. But just for those of you that don't know, my company is Text Them All, and we started off as Call Them All, so we can chat about voice if we want, 21 years ago. So, we're quite a ways into this. We've been messaging for a while, but we really lean into informational messaging. We don't do any political. We are just now on year 21 starting to do promotional texting. So our clients are schools, churches, nonprofits. We have Fortune 500 clients, Ford, Amazon, Republic Services, Stellantis. But Ford doesn't use us for marketing. They use us for employee communication. And so to answer your question, like Ford's a good example. Does Ford, who's using us to communicate with their, at one plant, maybe it's 1,200 employees, and they're saying a machine broke and the second shift is going to start 45 minutes late. Don't come in, okay? Or wait 45 minutes. How much value, you brought up ROI on this, but how much value is Ford going to, and I don't know the answer to this, yes, I will be finding out because we're sending our first beta clients through RCS right now, okay? So I'll find out very soon. They're a gut check on is there an ROI on that? Do I want branded messaging to my employees? But here's the thing where Janik and I share this at the same time. If I'm selling to a sales or marketing team, golly, it's so easy. Measure the ROI. How many more deals did you get? Like, fine, they have money. Sales and marketing teams have budget. Anybody in sales knows this. Those are the people you want to sell to. That's how you make a ton of money. I'm selling to communication teams, HR, operations, and it is an expense in their budget. So I think we're going to find out, is there an ROI? What does a church think about branded messaging? Do they get more people to show up? And, I don't know. What are their motivations? We're going to find out a lot about that. I will know in October, how they're answering this question, because we're sending the first ones through now. But that's something that he and I share in common, is that we're being viewed as a budget rather than a sales tool.
But I'm going to come, I promise you, but I'm going to come and ask you the same thing, because I want those ROI, I want those use cases to share with everybody and see where does it work and how can we sell it better, potentially, as an industry. But fair points, and we heard it from one of our users, so why not? What else stood out for you?
Well, we can talk about RCS approvals for these not so obvious cases, right? So I know that if you're trying to validate or verify a big brand, you're going to have a trademarked logo, you're going to have whatever. But 100% of my clients want RCS. Who doesn't? Of course they all want to have a branded, beautiful message and all of the features and tools in there. But then you get down to the budget thing, and then you're like, how do you even verify them, right? So First Baptist Church of Miami out here, the pastors, or some volunteer might have created their logo 22 years ago, and it's not registered, it's not trademarked. How do you? So I understand the challenge as you go from big brands down to these smaller use cases, and how are we going to validate them? And my answer, you didn't really ask me this question, but I'm just going to, you wanted opinions. I'll give you one. There's data. We have data now. And when we talk about AI, it's, bank account and giving it access to your personal life, fine. But some of this is just better machine learning. If I'm scanning for shaft, okay, AI, I don't have to enter all the different ways to say gun or marijuana, and there's a lot to say marijuana. I'll just figure that out for me, And we do that. So how do we do that with campaigns? So maybe that church that we're talking about has had a campaign up since it started 6 years. And they've been with one CSP, and they have a minuscule opt-out rate. How do we incorporate that in? Because we talk about gates a lot. We're verifying to let you in. Then how can we monitor that pipe with AI to think ahead to, wow, we might have 1.8% growth, going back to your numbers, right?
Different market.
If we're at 1.8% growth, we got to squeeze all kinds of stuff. There's a ton out there in in SMBs and that kind of stuff. And how can we think ahead? Do they want RCS? How can we get them on that platform?
But I repeat some of your words. This is almost a good problem to have. You mean you have a system, 80%, 90% covered. We have some special use cases. Can we discuss those?
Yeah.
But I think going back to it, well, but at least you cover 90% of it works, right? So we still as a process. We'll go into it. And maybe if there is no logo, let's find a way to make sure that companies with no logo can put that logo.
And to be fair, that's a problem that, you should not be looking at my clients as the first. But if we're going to look ahead, that's where there's opportunity and growth, and maybe we do justify higher revenue because, we're going to charge more for RCS and they want on. How are we going to get them on? But in the meantime, we know, we're looking ahead. We're sending our first few through now, and then we're going to figure out how many can we send through, and how are the different carriers going to respond to these registration requests. We're just like any other CSP that's sending these things through. We got to learn, listen to what comes back. I'm hearing about the carriers dealing with this volume and starting to build their support tools for RCS verification, and we'll see how that goes.
And we heard from you, RCS, October. So we'll come back some of the use cases. I guess it's a bit early to talk about APIs to some of your customers. You're not offering API services on security and so on, which is not some of your.
For sure. Yeah, too early.
Can you imagine selling APIs? The integrations, is that something an SMB will ever come and ask you?
frankly, yeah, let me, maybe it would help if I just kind of explained my world and what it looks like. So if you think about the blizzard in January, if you're from the US here, we had a huge blizzard in January, like massive. These clients come out of the woodwork for us, okay? And there's don't let me forget about campaign drift, okay? But anyways, think about a manufacturer with 200 employees, and the blizzard is hitting on Monday. If they're really good and they're not just scrambling in their small business trying to live their life, on Thursday they might go, man, how am I going to message everybody if we shut down? They go to Google, they go to whatever. They find text them all, super competitive. I know one of my competitors is here. Easy is here all the time. And they decide, all right, I'm going to go text them all. They come out, they understand that we have to register. Like, it's very easy to explain to them. Look, you can't just sign up and send a whole bunch of texts to people. That is spammy. And they go, totally get it. What do you need? And they give us their information. We have to explain a lot of times what an EIN is, et cetera, and we go. And then our aggregator and us are like, whoa, we're getting backed up. And they're, going through their process, and they're hustling, and people are working overtime and blah, blah, blah to get all these things through. But if that small business owner didn't realize till Saturday, they're like, we're always open. No blizzard can shut us down. And on Saturday, they go, oh, shit, I think I need something. They woke up Saturday morning not even knowing they needed us. They don't know what registration is. They don't know any of that. They fill it out, and we're scrambling trying to get them through. But so that's like part of the challenge that we get is we have hundreds of them show up in a 7-day period, and they're all urgent and time sensitive, and almost all of them are small. Like, we look at low volume mixed. I don't know if this is what you want me to talk about, Dario. I'm just talking.
Not at all.
We talk about low volume mixed. It's way bigger than they need. 2,000 messages a day. A lot of these need like 250 once a month, if you think about that. But here's what's beautiful, and when we talk about 1.8% growth, which really, if y'all can't tell, stuck with me, like, wow, it's slowed down in Europe. You're not here, but like, how does everybody act if it's not just rolling, okay? But what happens is something beautiful, and it's the good campaign drift. They didn't know this tool existed until they said, oh shit, on Thursday or Saturday morning. And here they are, and they could be not just a manufacturer, a VFW, and any kind of an organization, okay? And they go, wow, that was awesome. Like, it worked. Like, everybody got it. Like, they knew what was going on. They were waiting for my message. Some of them replied back. You know what? We have open enrollment next week, and half of them haven't done it. They send out, y'all, you got to open enroll by the end of the month. You're killing us. Let's go. They did it, And so all of these new use cases, this beautiful campaign drift happens, and all these new use cases, and I checked on a few of them yesterday, okay? And VFW, that's why it popped. There was a VFW that signed up during the blizzard. There was a small manufacturer. I looked, maybe 125 employees, all kinds of stuff. And one of them was up to 6,000 messages. Another one was up to 8,000 messages haven't been sent. So they showed up during the blizzard, and we're in this blitz, and if we mess up and don't get them through fast enough, we drop the ball. But if we do, they say, wow, this is awesome. And we all have this small, it isn't, United Airlines, but we're doing something important too, to the extent that matters.
Point taken.
Yeah.
But we have heard about zero trust, the
Yep.
important KYC, the fact that this could be somebody still that you don't want to have in your network. So
Yeah.
you have to manage that other topics
Yep.
as well, right?
Yeah, it's hard. It's a hard problem.
And somebody has to be accountable, maybe you. If
Well, I'm
something
not,
happens.
you know what, I wish it was me.
Oh.
I wish it was. Because, like, we're looking at AI, what is AI enabled for a CSP? Don't believe it. If you're a software company, this is modern software development. We used to have machine learning to monitor for opt-outs, and we call them non-standard opt-outs and all that kind of stuff. We're using AI for a relatively simple use case, okay? We have TCPA, we have Shaft, we have all the rules and guidelines in there, we have our approaches in it, and it took a while to craft this beautiful prompt, but now we're running 100% of our messages through that. And so, like, what is AI enabling? Your CSP has a net, your aggregator has a net, and your carriers have nets. Like, it should be very hard to get through that. And if you have a CSP that's sending you junk, maybe I should start a product that actually send them to me, and we'll put an API in front of our prompt, and we'll run it through and keep them from sending junk to you if you're an aggregator. So I don't know if I'm answering your question, but
Nope.
it isn't that hard.
Completely
It's
different.
not that hard. It's right there. It's like $20 a month, and you can build this and quit sending junk out. So I would not buy excuses from people if I were y'all. Like, it's not that hard. And so, yeah, I want to be vetted because we're doing the right things. We're monitoring. We keep track of what percentage of the registrations that we send over get rejected for some reason because we think they should all go through. How did it get through? So raise the bar. Raise the bar on the people that are sending you junk is my, I don't know if it's a hot
Your
opinion
invitation.
or just,
Well, let's do another invitation. One to you. Anything you would like to throw back at us as a takeaway from your side?
Yeah.
You're so shy. But I know you after a couple of drinks. They're coming next. You're not always so shy. Come on, tell us something. Well, I'm so glad we had you, Brad, because you see, you're not a shy guy. You said it all.
Y'all are doing great work. Like, let's go. These are good problems, and we're doing something meaningful. Like, this is what everybody on the whole freaking planet counts on. So do the hard work. Let's go. Like, we can do it. Lean in. I'm here. Like, if you ever care about the SMBs and odd ones or, whatever, but keep working together. We can do it.
Thank you.
These are good problems.
Thanks, Brad.
Yeah.
And some play with us.
Yeah.
Thank you.